welcome back to Fighters Drinking Coffee. We are your hosts,
Scott Dance
and Michael Sutherland, and with a combined 40 years of grappling experience, we are here to help you make your jiu-jitsu training a little bit easier. We did things the hard way, so you don't have to. That's our tagline. So, P.T. Barnum once said, comfort is the enemy of growth. And, think what you will about circuses and P.T. Barnum, whatever, freak shows back in the day.
the bearded lady.
Jiu-jitsu is a little bit of a freak show anyways, right, guys? But it's very true. It's a very true statement, especially in jiu-jitsu, right? Like, we talk about, like, being comfortable in uncomfortable positions. You have to, like, find a way to beat discomfort. And because of that, like the discomfort is in fact what makes you better at jiu-jitsu. Like you have to like do those things that are hard. You have to do those things that suck. Like you can't just only do the drills that you like doing, right? You have to be put in the bad position. You have to work on the things that you're bad at. You have to learn new things, which is inherently difficult to do. You need to have those hard rolls, right? Like there's all these different, it can go even further than that. Some gyms, you like belt promotions is we're just going to roll for a long time. You're going to get smashed. Everyone's going to be coming in fresh and you're just going to have to like embrace the suck for a few hours, right? It's just how it is. It's what makes you better. It's what helps you. One, it shows you who you are. It makes you like break out of your shell, be willing to take those risks. Competition. We're going to go ahead and break that seal at 2 minutes and 14 seconds today.
It's gonna happen. It was gonna happen.
We might as well just get it done.
Yeah.
Competition is, you just have to be uncomfortable, right? Like that's a big part of it. And that's one of the things that helps you get better from competition is that forced uncomfortability and, being in front of other people, being willing to put yourself out there, knowing that there's a chance that you lose, right? Or that maybe you don't have the best performance, but that's okay. We're getting better doing this. I mean, heck, I just posted a video of me getting tapped out over and over and over and over again because fuck it, who cares, dude? Like that's what happens in this sport. As long as you're getting better, it doesn't matter. But yeah, man, uncomfortability, right?
Discomfort.
Yeah, that's probably the actual
uncomfortability.
Word. Uncomfortability. I'm showing
you hick.
Yeah, exactly.
You hillbilly. Yeah, definitely. Like a mustard seed.
Yeah,
flailing around in the wind, finding the ground to soak into, and then crack through and develop into. I don't know. I guess mustard.
Yeah, mustard.
But mustard seed's like a thing. It's like a known thing. Or a better one, like a butterfly.
Ooh,
cracking out of the cocoon. You got to push through the cocoon and break the walls.
You gotta
break through,
build that chrysalis and hang from a thing, and then you gotta break out.
Hey, see, I had a feeling you would know a little bit about, the butterfly.
I went to grade school. I learned about it.
Yeah. You sure did. The molting cycles of butterflies or caterpillars or something. Yeah, dude.
Not to sidetrack it, but I did learn about a moth that doesn't have a mouth. I know this is off topic, but like
a mouthless moth.
It literally only lives for a week after it only eats while it's a caterpillar, and then it turns into a moth and it lives for a week and dies.
Just like balls out for a week. I can fly and then just dies, huh? Yeah. Pike doesn't have a mouth to eat.
Yeah.
Do most moths have mouths? I admit I don't know a ton about moth anatomy.
I guess, the fact that it told me that this one specifically doesn't.
Did you find this on Instagram?
Well, we saw this giant moth. And so
where did you see this giant moth?
This was at my house.
Okay.
And my kid was super excited about the moth. So we took a picture of it, like looked it up to find out what kind of moth it was. All right. And that was like the big thing. It was like, thing about this moth is it doesn't have a mouth and only lives for a week.
Tight.
it
So you're thinking about
only-
smashing the mouth. You're like, nah, you know what? The moth, and I'll let him live for a couple more days.
We'll let this play out.
His life meter's about to run out.
He's already uncomfortable enough.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, like much like the moth, we're all going to die one day.
We are.
And we're, as mere mortals, we have to make the most of the time while we're here. Thus,
Ooh,
to bring it back. Yeah, you like that?
Live like you're a moth, guys.
Yeah, live like you're the mouthless moth, man. Like we're gonna expire one day, and so you know you can try to seek an abundance of comfort. I suppose that's human nature, isn't it? Like we do all this discomfortability stuff to maybe one day attain something that can provide comfort, but will we even take it when we get it? It's like, what does the path to comfort take over? The path to comfort, which is probably being uncomfortable and being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Well, I guess
for periods of time make you a conquistador.
Are we going into this already?
Hey, I just used a word of like, you know, the kind of person who like gets good at like accomplishing difficult things and embracing discomfort, is capable of creating comfort for themselves, but maybe they get addicted to the process and they just can never really feel comfortable being comfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Comfort is, I mean, ultimately, right? Like,
it's kind of nice from time to time.
It's what you, I mean, I'm at, you should probably be seeking, like,
there's a balance of life, right?
At the end of, like, that is a goal, but
do all of this so I can be comfortable one day.
Yeah, but, you know, obviously you want to have some level of comfort along the way, but to become stagnant in that comfort, right? Like, I think that's more of what the issue is, especially when it comes to like jiu-jitsu. If you become stagnant, you're not going to learn anything new. You will start to lag behind your peers. You won't get better because you're doing the same thing, only the same thing, and maybe you're not trying to improve in that thing. Like, if you are comfortable in what you're doing, you're probably not taking steps to improve those tasks. So you may be like, oh, well, I do X, Y, and Z move, and that's what I do. It works for now, so I'll just do that, and I don't need to get better at it. I don't even really need to practice it. I mean, obviously, if you're doing it a lot, you are kind of practicing it, but like, you're not adapting it to other things you might be willing, you know, like, oh, I'll just roll with this guy because I know I can beat this guy. You know, my training partner, Bob, I can beat him every day. So he'll be my training partner. I'll roll with him only, and I'll just keep beating him, and I don't really need to get better. I can just keep doing what I'm doing, and it's fine. Versus like, oh, I'm going to go try to, there's this guy who's better than me. And I see, like, you're the blue belt and there's this brown belt over there, and I'm going to go try to roll with this brown belt. And if you had only been doing the same thing with partner Bob this whole time, and you go try to do that same thing to this brown belt now, like, probably not going to work, right? Because it's not, that game doesn't work that way, right? So
comfort is like a temptress, like a siren, to use like the Odyssey analogy, which I haven't seen yet. Want to? Yeah, it's like it's beckoning you. You're on the boat. You're tired. Everything's been tough and difficult for a long time. You hear this sweet, sweet voice beckoning you. You're like, what is that? Sounds so nice. Like comfort. Oh, yeah. And then you get there and it kind of destroys you, I suppose. But yeah. I joke, but I don't know, maybe there's something to it. Yeah.
She makes you stay there until you drown, I believe. I think that's how
all right. Yeah. So don't do that.
They smacken you to the rock, and then the waves come and
then
take
you get
you away.
Smushed. Your ship runs into the rocks or whatever. It's catastrophic is the point.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But maybe that's an extraordinary metaphor, but I suppose too much comfort is probably a bad thing. I think you want, like, there's got to be some balance. Before the episode, I was saying this is going to be a conversation about chaos and order, the dichotomy of the two, because you probably should seek some healthy, appropriate balance, and everyone's continuum for this might be a little different, but what amount of like comfort in training or life or whatever keeps you sustained while you also, with the right amount of your scales of comfort, discomfort here.
I'm not
spend time.
I'm not gonna give anyone advice
I don't know
on their life side of things, but we can talk about the jiu-jitsu side of it.
Sure,
for sure.
I was just whatever. Whatever your that's fine. Relegated this. We're gonna talk about jiu-jitsu, but anyways, like I mean, I like having some split between some comfort and discomfort to keep me developing as a human being.
Yeah, I mean,
in more than one arena of my life, but yeah, for sure. And jiu-jitsu, yes, of course.
Yeah,
interestingly, it mirrors the same.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm personally not gonna give anyone like
I'm not
advice.
Either. We're not.
I would agree.
We're talking about a concept that can apply to a lot of things, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
Michael,
I mean, like, yeah, I do enjoy a level of comfort in my daily personal life, but there is something nice about, like, I don't know, the hard thing, like,
you got a quest,
like the hard path, right? Like, very easily, like, I mean, I could have very easily, like, stayed at my job, collected the paycheck, even though, like, it wasn't really challenging me anymore, right? Like, and you could do that, and that's fine. Sometimes it is the right answer, right? Like, for some people, that might be the better thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not going to tell you to change that.
Yeah. We're not telling you to quit your job.
Yeah. But for me, right, like, I just, like, that wasn't fulfilling. So I was like, oh, I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to go change the path, pursue this other thing, because, like, that making that portion of things uncomfortable, right? Like, let's do something different. Let's chase this. Let's try to make this other thing work. Like, that for me is stimulating. Same thing in jiu-jitsu, right? Like, you could very easily keep doing the same thing every day, and there is a level of that's necessary in jiu-jitsu. And for some people, that aspect of it, of, like, the constant, right? For some people, the constant and the control is what they need, and that's okay as well. But for other people, to achieve their goals, they might need to have that mix-up. Maybe they need to do open mats. Maybe they need to have constant difference in the training sessions, right? I guess that's what I'm getting at with, like, with that. I'm
picking up what you're putting down. I liked it. I liked what you did there.
With the dichotomy, like you're talking about there, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
There's
like a call to adventure that every time you try to, like, bring it solely back to jiu-jitsu, I'm like, I'm going to pull you right back into the waters of, like, no, let's make it about everything.
I'm going to talk about conquistadors, the Odyssey.
I might.
Scott's very into the whole conquistadors right now.
I'm reading a lot of books, and it's interesting stuff. Yeah, sure. Yeah. You're right. I am. But anyways, dude. It's a little call to adventure is good for you. It's not for everybody, like you said, but there's we'll call it skill development.
Yeah,
we'll call it skill development of which is directly applicable to jiu-jitsu, but it still allows me the leeway to take it in whatever direction I want. Mike,
I'll let you do that.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll allow it.
So the skill development aspect of, like, doing that, kind of like, chasing a quest. You're like Frodo taking the ring to Mordor, dude. And, you'll meet some interesting people along the way. You'll meet some allies. You'll form some enemies. It's good for you. It's a good story. What stories? There are no cool stories about someone who just, like, was, like, constantly having comfort. In my opinion. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like the luxuries, the finer things in life as much, if not more, than the next person. However, in my opinion, I find that they're much more rewarding when balanced with, like, of everything we are talking about too. So in my opinion, so I do, and I believe, like you said earlier, there is this right balance for an individual. And training, well, yeah, sure, training. It's in training, yeah, like have some comfortable days, have more uncomfortable days than comfortable days, in my opinion, and also in my opinion, what you'll notice when you do that is that, like, what was once uncomfortable starts to become comfortable. So it's just sort of having an attitude. It's a lot like what we talked about with John earlier, where it's like things will change. And like if you're like, oh, man, if you're like self-aware and if you yearn for that like challenge, you'll be like you'll be keen enough with your 2 eyes, your 2 ears, and your third eye, or whatever, like your awareness, your mind, to know when you're like, all right, I kind of feel like things are, maybe you're plateauing on something, and then maybe it's like, jump to the next quest, jump to the next jiu-jitsu move or the next jiu-jitsu challenge or whatever, life challenge. But yeah, dude, like if you're, some people, myself included, just find crazy shit to get involved in, all the time to keep that like thirst for like the next thing, the more, the exciting, new, challenging thing. Everyone's different, but it does help that we're competitors, because that's inherently like a quest, challenging thing that you're like, all right. And like when anyone listening, like if you're a white belt, a blue belt, a purple belt, a brown belt, or even a black belt, like there's always going to be like a new like level of the game, a new stage that you get to play in. So this is the nice thing about, I'm bringing it back to jiu-jitsu. The nice thing about this realm that we're in, this martial art, this sport, I mean, whether you're competing or not, but the competition thing just makes it so simple for you to be like, oh, this is my adventure. This is like my new tough thing. It's like done for you. You just got to show up, and you got to prepare. You got to do all the work, but like, you just have to be like, oh, my job is to try to keep winning and try to get better at this thing. So it's like, it's kind of like, that's why I like it so much. It's just like, this is there. It's like, this is the thing. This thing, gives me that challenge and allows me to ask those questions, and then kind of gets you into that position to ask this comfort versus discomfort thing. So I would imagine a lot of people don't even think about it, Mike.
Well, and you can even think about it as not necessarily discomfort or being uncomfortable, but more of like seeking a challenge. Because obviously, like in your brain, you're not going to want to seek discomfort, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, we're like hardwired to avoid it.
So like if you can almost rewire your thinking and be like, oh, well, I'm not uncomfortable. This is just obviously like this is challenging.
It's like a trick you have to put on yourself. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
And so like if you are constantly like seeking more ways to challenge yourself, you will be uncomfortable in a lot of those scenarios, which is, that is what we are talking about. That is what you need to do to improve. That's what you need to do to get better. Or at least to like find out what you need to do to get better, right? Like maybe you don't directly learn from those uncomfortable situations. Like that's not directly what improves. I mean, in a lot of them in jiu-jitsu, like just doing a competition will just make you better sometimes. But maybe that's not the thing that directly makes you better, but that one challenging or that moment of discomfort, you can bring that back to like your bastion of comfortability and improve there, right? So like you have to have those moments, that discomfort, that challenge, and take it and, bring that home.
Yeah.
Maybe be a little more comfortable. And maybe that's where you can improve on it, because not everybody can do that immediately, right? In the uncomfortable setting. Some people can. I mean, like I know personally, like I actually do better in that setting for like, I mean, we've talked about it where I actually can improve better in the moment, like when it's direct feedback right away, and can take that in
Chicago.
Yeah, like Chicago, right? Like, all right, this is what happened. Let's adjust now.
Well, that's top of mind.
That's better for me versus like, well, if I take that and go back, take that data, go home, use it there, and like once all that time, just you can get back into the regular flow, and then it doesn't really, that situation never arises in that setting. And so then you never get to address it. Right. So for some people, maybe they are good at that, or it also kind of depends. I think what you're describing is
pretty common. Like it's I don't want to call it a pitfall, but it's an easy thing to kind of fall back on, like what you said, like just what you've been doing. So yeah, to your point, like that immediate opportunity, like right away, be like, all right, this thing just happened. We talked about it. I'm gonna make a decision right now. I'm gonna do it differently, and then you get another chance right away. So that is a really good setting to do what you talked about, and that's not always the case, right? You don't always get that opportunity to your point. But I did want to respond to what you were saying earlier about like just like the competition experience or opportunity to extract some things you can work on and kind of like maximizing the value of it, taking all the opportunities out of that moment, that experience, that day or a couple days or a couple minutes or whatever it is at a tournament. It's like a good like compass. It's like a good opportunity to kind of set an aim for like a true north where you're like, all right, well, to your point, it I do think even just doing it will get, even if you're not trying, if you're not doing all of the work to get the most out of the experience, you can't not get better from doing it, in my opinion, barring some extraordinary like life-altering injuries and shit like that. But putting that, even I don't know, whatever. Yeah, let's just say that
there's other things to be gained from that, but yeah,
perhaps, yeah. But just going and doing it and kind of like getting that, it's like it's thought provoking to go into. It's a new experience, right? It's good for your mind and your body to like go out and do a challenging thing. In any case, if you want to take it a step further, what I like about it is, to your point earlier, it's sort of like you don't always know what you're going to get out of the competition. Sometimes everything goes great, and that's good too. Like if everything goes perfectly, like that's really good. Like we want our people to go out there and like slam dunk, smash people and win. Like when that happens, awesome. Doesn't always happen, of course. Or sometimes you have like an okay win. You're like, oh man, I think I could do a little bit better than that. But like whatever the outcome is, you should be able to walk home with a couple. Sometimes it's like questions. Sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't realize this was a question I should be answering. I wasn't expecting X, Y, and Z. Or maybe you did expect certain things and it just didn't quite get what you wanted out of it. But like at least in that realm, you're like aware that this is the thread that I should be thinking about in training. But to however you spin it, you should return from that experience with, not too many, because like for the purpose of what we're talking about here, and we've talked about this in the podcast before, in my opinion, I prefer, I think like less is more a lot of times. Like I try to keep like lessons and takeaways like 2 to 3 things. Yeah. Because I think anything more than that can be a little bit too much to think about at any given time. Maybe that's my own limitation there. But if you get like 2 solid working actionable items out of that, like that's going to inform you. Because I do think there's like a process to this of like, it's not just the competition and talking about what we're talking about. It's actually like implementing it as well. Like giving yourself the homework to say, all right, like we're going to not do guard like this. We're going to not do whatever. Like we're not going to get caught in a leg lock. So then if you have fewer objectives as a takeaway, I find that it then becomes a little bit easier to implement that as a plan for training so that you do further get the most out of that competition experience by actually taking it and working on it.
Yeah. And like you said, that like 2 to 3 things, right? If you come away and you just pick apart your entire match and like hyper focus on like every single little detail. You're like, well, I need to do this on my feet. I need to do this in this exchange, this in this exchange, this in this, and like, then you'll just get,
there's too many things, right?
Yeah. You're not going to get better at any of those things. So if you pick, like you're saying, the big moments, or just the ones that you felt were the most critical.
Sure.
Like maybe
the biggest red flags, so to speak.
You pick your 2 or 3 critical moments, because like sometimes there's going to be stuff where it's like, oh, like I got armbarred, I should armbar escape more. Maybe that's not maybe we need to work on just like we've talked about, like, don't be there. Maybe you work on the other things that are just like broader to your game, right? Like, hey, like maybe we work on the position prior to that armbar, not the actual armbar escapes. Because like you don't have to armbar escape if you aren't in armbars, right? Like
that's true.
So you're right. Look, hey, I'm always in this position. These are the things that normally happen to me here that lead to those submission attempts, even, right? Like let's work on that. The armbars are going to happen. If it's too late, like
it's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
So you made mistakes prior to that like, all right, let's find the moment let's find that turning point, that tipping point that led to the thing.
Yeah.
And let's put ourselves there over and over and over again. Sometimes it is, hey, this guy, it always happens because someone throws up the triangle and I make this adjustment every time and they switch to the arm bar.
Yeah.
Maybe, all right, well, let's go to that triangle and let's fix that escape. Maybe that is the answer, right? But
well, to your point, there's some discernment, like you said, from like looking at some data or video or whatever, and then like you gotta like this. I think kind of speaks to like having a good team around you, a good coach, a good program, like in the right setting to be able to like actually work on some of these adjustments. But we're on the same page insofar as like because you'll watch a video and if you're looking for 50 things, you'll find 50 things that you can do differently, and maybe as time goes on, that's okay too. Like if you're not a competitor who's doing 5 to 8 to 10 tournaments a year, let's say you do one, but that one 6-minute match could be really informative for you throughout an entire year, potentially. Either way, you want to use that footage and find 4 things or 40 things. I think, and you can tell me if you disagree, but I think we're on the same page insofar as saying like whatever the amount of takeaways is, like it's best to at least start and implement maybe just like a couple things, 2-3 things. Because like, in my opinion, that workflow of making those adjustments, it's not a like one and done thing, right? It's like it needs to become a habit for a little while until you going back to the comfort discomfort thing. Like it may be, I'll just use the example you said, not even, let's just say that the one of the takeaways was armbar escapes rather than prevention. Because I agree with you on prevention, but either way, if it's just to pick a specific thing.
Sometimes it is that. Yes.
Well,
that's why I'm just agreeing.
Yeah. But let's say it was that. Like, you have that conversation with your coach. You agree. We're both on the same page. I should be doing some homework on armbar escapes and defense, and which, by the way, is still a rather broad category in and of itself. Nonetheless, you say, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to be through Monday through Saturday or whatever it is, my training protocols, my weekly schedule. A lot of that's going to be going to classes where there's an agenda already cooked in. But like, I'm going to look at my schedule and find some time for some open drilling where I can really just focus on this thing. But like my point being, like you're going to have an action plan that you can employ, and you should maybe try more than once a week, but like even just once a week is still, it's better than a lot of people in terms of doing this stuff. Because a lot of people talk about this stuff. A lot of people don't actually they don't implement the adjustments. But if you're setting aside a little block of time once a week, it's not a ton of time, but it's not nothing and it will help. But you need to do that for several weeks, if not several months, before you begin to notice the adjustment. Like one drilling session of a thing is not enough if you want to truly make that improvement. And I'm not saying it's like a life sentence. I'm not saying you're going to be doing this for 6 years and and then after 6 years, you might notice that your armbar defense has gotten better. It'll hopefully be quicker than that. Maybe it's like six weeks to 3 months, just as an example. But all of that going back to like the action plan of following up on a tournament and footage and videos. It's like you need to give yourself that time. That's why we agree, like we want fewer adjustments for our students. So it's like they're given an opportunity to actually work those adjustments. If we were serious as coaches, which, I'd like to think we were in that conversation, this hypothetical conversation, to then give that person the ability to work on it. So that whether it's in the training room or the next tournament 6 months later, 12 months later, whatever, they notice that they're more confident and they're more comfortable there because they did that work. And then perhaps, or alongside that, you can maybe cascade and kind of stack stuff as someone starts to develop proficiency. You could take the next lesson and then you can keep getting value out of that video as time goes on. If that's, things change in jiu-jitsu. Like, you'll do this stuff and your match from 6 months ago that you're like, dude, like that scorched, like when we were talking to John, it's like, it scorched the memory. I don't want to look at it. It's like, it sticks with the person, but like after a while they'll get over it and they'll be like, all right, well now the new thing that I got fucked up with was your attention will shift. But it's a good habit either way.
Yeah. I mean, so I do this with there's an exercise I do with my one with the competitors, but also with the private, like the guys that do private lessons for. So whenever I have someone new that I start working with for that, I always ask them like, where do you normally get caught? Where you get stuck in your roles, right? What are the positions or the tasks or whatever that like you just find yourself not knowing what to do? All right, cool. That's what we're going to work on in the private lesson. But, that's however, that's only a couple sessions a week or one session a week, whatever that frequency might be. So I'll tell them, because this is something that I do for myself, which is give yourself a quota on, the number of times you hit that in, you do this complete this task within a roll.
Sure,
right?
You're recording
within
data.
a period of time.
You're seeing, you're like, oh, I did it once this week. I did it 0 times because I'm still new at it. But then like time goes on, you're like, oh, I'm hitting it. I'm actually achieving goal 3, 4, 5. Like you're quantifying.
Yeah.
That's good.
But then beyond, like, you have to take it in some cases, because you have however much time you spend on the mats in a week or in a month or whatever. And if you just go and just like freestyle it every time that you have open rolling sessions, like when you have the time for open rolling, you're going to end up just doing whatever. And then maybe rolling's fun. I get it. But maybe you haven't done anything, right? Like, yeah, maybe you tapped the dude out, but like, have you done anything that made you better?
I get what you're
saying.
saying.
And so you can reframe, if you take it and you reframe like your goals during rolling, like if there is something that if you just want to have fun, cool, just go have fun.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's perfectly fine with me.
We've talked about this a bunch of times, but I like this. Continue.
But if you reframe that like thought process of the purpose of these roles, and you say, well, I'm working on, and we'll keep using armbar escapes, then this one's actually kind of fun because it's going to be extra uncomfortable to do in a roll. If I'm working on armbar escapes, I need to put myself in position to escape armbars in these rolls.
What, Mike?
Which means I
getting
need to lose these rolls, right?
I'll be tapping quite a bit.
Like you are going to give armbars to your training partner. And you know what? That's great. They're going to get a lot of reps armbarring.
That's right.
And that's like I think we've talked about this on ego episodes. That's really hard to do, to be like, I'm going to just, here you go, beat me.
I'm kind of allowing you to beat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have to like, one, break that mental barrier. But, if you can go and just say like, I am going to be put in this position. I did this with triangles personally, because I got triangled a shit ton when I first came back to jiu-jitsu. It's just the way that I do jiu-jitsu, I think. I'm very head forward.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, fuck it, I'm just going to get triangled a lot, and I'm just going to try to escape triangles until I was escaping triangles all the time.
Yep.
Same thing with like guillotines. You just got to get guillotined a lot. Yep. And so you have to be willing to just tap out a lot, get put in these bad positions a lot, and like, you got to give them up. And same thing if it's escapes. If you want to escape, you got to put yourself in position to escape.
It's like allowing yourself to lose the battle to win the war.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from like the core of this conversation and a bit of what we've touched upon around it, which is in my opinion, like when I hear these things and I think it speaks to like you or whoever in this case, like having like a true like challenging goal. Like your goal is like, hey, like this is all. And the reason why I like all this stuff too is I think it brings in an added degree of purpose and value behind how you train, because you know that each session where you spend time doing that more difficult, challenging thing, where like, yeah, like you said, like you're basically consenting to putting yourself in like a losing scenario over and over again in a game where the purpose isn't to lose, it's to win. But like, like temporarily, like, all right, I might have to take some L's to master this skill set that in the big picture will make me a more competent and effective competitor to ultimately win my big picture game, my big picture goal of like winning some titles, hitting some gold medals, like winning a game, winning the tournaments, competing and winning, which is, we've talked about so many times. This is why we like that stuff, because I do think it gets people thinking about, it gets you out of the world of what you said earlier of just kind of like winging it in training, which again, like for a lot of people, that's totally fine. But it's just for the few, the proud, the brave, the Marines, for the few, the proud, the people who our listeners, the people in the realm of jiu-jitsu who are like kind of feel that like little call to adventure to go compete, and like they want to win, they want to do good, they want to get the most out of this short life and this short window of like fun jiu-jitsu competitive careers we make for ourselves. If you want to do well at that, I mean, your attitude towards how you want to treat your competition is completely up to you too. Like some people are like, I think I can win multiple world championships. So it's going to be a hard goal, and that's going to make you very uncomfortable because you're going to have to do like a lot of what we're talking about. Like, this has to be how your attitude toward training has to be very purposeful.
It's going to be a lot of.
You can't wing it if you're like, I want to be a world champion. You just won't work. winging training doesn't, unless you have like a rare day off, like a quote unquote day off, where your day off is really your training, because you just can't help it but want to train. This is a good way to actually, if you're going to be a world champion like that, you should be willing to be on the mat all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And there may be days where like, if you have a good program, you've talked with your coach, where it's like you work 4 days on full clip intensity, and then like that one day off can be a winging it. Like there's a way to do that too, but your entirety of your training can't just be show up and just do whatever. If you have a purpose of needing to be tight on important skills that prior competitions have informed you that you either weren't there or you needed more of it, and going into your next tournament, you owe it to yourself to do a better job, because you're just kind of failing on yourself and you choose to just fuck around and then show up to the tournament basically fucking around again if you're not doing that homework. So this is my way of kind of like speaking out, I don't know, my psychology on how we think about it. I imagine this resonates, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you're obviously like committed, you talked about it, like you chose to do this, so you care. And you're like, I want to get the best out of my career. So like, I'm going to think more. I'm going to try a little bit. I'm going to write down stuff. Like I didn't write down how many fucking rear naked chokes I got this morning when I did back mount drill. It was a decent amount. I'm impressed. Maybe I'll do that. Like I like that you do that. Cause it's a good attention to detail. Cause like you fucking care, and you should. Cause again, we're going to die one day. This is a pretty cool thing. Like, so let's do our best, let's do our best while we're here. And this is a fun conversation for a lot of reasons, because we're talking a lot about like little tactical things, but I also think there's a lot on process too, like what you just described, like individuals, and we all have like different little skill sets. Like I work with Kate, as you know.
Yeah.
She's really detailed. She writes a lot of stuff down too. She's like a note taker, detail oriented, data. And I admire people who do that. I try to do a better job of that stuff. I've gotten much better about it in my career, but it's not my natural thing. I'm very like, I kind of like gut measure things.
Well, yeah,
very well.
I don't like personally write all this stuff down.
But you're tracking it.
It's kept up in my head.
But we all have some continuum of like our natural skill sets, is what I'm saying. Where like some people are like, got it. That's still good. You are thinking about it. I didn't even think about it. I just was like, I did acknowledge how long I stayed in back mount for like the duration of I was set aside, like I think I told you, like 10 or 12 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to see if I can stay the whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to get as many minutes out of this 12 as I can.
So I'm aware of that, but so like in one way or another, we're both kind of thinking through like, how well are we doing at this chosen little challenge? Like we want to do well at this one. There are other little scenarios where like I'd say they're less about me and what I want to get out of it, maybe a little more for the rest of the team. I'm still gaining from that, but like that was like the one thing for sure that I was like, that and octopus guard, by the way, where I was like, all right, like these are the things I want to I want to get better at this. I want to see if I can, maintain effectiveness as long as possible.
Yeah,
just
you need to develop a metric of success, right? Like if you don't have if you can't measure the success of something.
This is a Nakapan quote. What gets measured gets managed.
Yeah.
And he uses it for business. He probably uses it for everything in his life that he cares about, right? It's to your point. Yeah. It's choosing like, hey, we care about this. We care about the outcomes. We want to do better. Like we're not like killing ourselves. The outcome is exactly what we want, but like we're going to fucking fight metaphorically and literally, spiritually, mentally to like, it's like, we're trying to get better. It's the purpose of all this shit.
Purpose is that's a good word to use too, because if you're not measuring, if you don't give yourself a way to know that like this discomfort is successful, right? Like, and you're not measuring, you don't create that measurement of success, then how do you know that you got anything out of it, right? Like that discomfort needs to have a purpose. Because otherwise you're just uncomfortable for the sake of being uncomfortable, which does not lead to the growth, right?
You want to make it so it's productive. Like suffering just to suffer is, unless you're, I don't know, some people out there like, some people like are kind of can do that, but
we don't kink shame.
Most people, we're not going to kink shame. Yeah. We're not going to yuck your yum, but like, and so that might work for some people. For most people, like that ends up being, you just end up suffering, which is kind of like everyone has some sort of like metric or like continuum of like toughness so they can handle this stuff. But like to your point earlier, it's like you should like, you create a purpose for it so that you're like, hey, I'm willing to do this tough suffering shit because like it's benefiting me in ways that it has a purpose. It's serving a purpose, has value to it. So, and I think that's what you have to like, you have to know what that is.
Yeah.
And then, you might even end up liking the suffering. You probably will. Because the suffering is like, this is like, oh, it kind of sucks, but it's like little deposits in my bank account.
I know that this is making me better. I have to keep, this is good.
It
This
hurts.
is good for me.
It hurts.
Jocko
but yeah,
good.
exactly. No, seriously, that's a Jocko good. It really is.
Jocko
It's
good.
tricking your brain into saying Jocko good for the shitty stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to say that to yourself.
I mean, Jocko's the man, dude, for so many reasons. And like, if we could summarize our conversation down to like, just watch the Jocko good.
Just watch Jocko. Well, yeah.
Save yourself 90 minutes and just like, or 58 minutes. Just watch 2.5 minutes of Jocko good. It's got cool music. Jocko's voice is awesome. He's, yeah. I'm not even trying to mimic it.
Yeah.
It's too good.
Just watch it. Yeah, I mean, yes. It pays off in the end. The like shitty days, the shitty training days where you get beat up, right? And they suck. I mean, it sucks. It does. Like those days can suck where like, oh, like I have plenty of footage proof on my phone of me just getting like smashed down by Kamal.
Oh yeah.
And like,
oh yeah. And lots of not footage of it too.
Yeah. I have lots of, there's a lot of
mostly not recorded, but it's like, this is like a tip of an iceberg thing. Like what you all see, there's like, oh, there's way more.
Yeah. Yeah. But where you're just getting just like
murked,
smashed. Yeah. Right. And like ultimately like it really does make you better. I mean, I'd like to believe that we've evolved beyond the earlier days of like iron sharpens iron, but iron does sharpen iron.
That's another like good old fashioned like quote of like it never gets old. It will always be relevant, and it does. Yeah,
it's not like necessarily the best all the time training method, but sometimes you just have to do it, and like that really is like the super. If you want to really throw it back to like uncomfortable days make you better, like it really does make you better. It might not be the smartest way to get better, like what we're talking about, like like now, like you just create scenarios where you have to deal with those like small, each little thing, where you're the takeaways that you've decided on or the tasks that you're trying to improve on, like rather than we're not creating like those micro goals and dealing with them. Mm-hmm. Now we're just talking about like, we're just going to have like a rough day. And
that's not the entirety of how you train too, right? Like it shouldn't be 100% of your training shouldn't be just choosing to get beaten up because there's like, I mean, not, again, we've extolled on the virtue of doing that, but I don't think it should be all of what you do either. Like you also need the days where you put it together and you're like, all right, well, I did all that for a reason. And funny enough, I had a conversation recently with a guy who I've trained with. I've known him for a while, but we trained together a little more recently.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know this, but he's kind of finding out, and we're buddies, right? This is not a competition, but like he's been one of the guys I've trained with on a lot of days where I've chosen to do that, where I've chosen to be like, all right, like this dude's good at leg locks, he's good at other stuff I'm not so good at, so we're going to do that. And like, he beats me on things.
Yeah.
Like I think he's kind of gotten accustomed to like being like, yeah, I can beat Scott in this stuff, which is fine because he can. When we choose to play that game, Michael. And then he's more recently running to me on days where I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that today. And I'm doing what I want to do. And like, I'm highlight reeling him. And afterwards he's like, hey, you were getting me pretty good today. I was like, yeah, I was, and we laughed. We're friends. Again, he's a great training partner. Good buddy. He's good in and of himself as well. But I was just sort of just like, yeah, just, kind of doing my thing today. Like, I'm not telling him, I'm like, hey, I'm allowing you to put me in scenarios where I know you'll beat me.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Then I was like, playing a different game today, and now
is the day that you die. Like, sorry, buddy. Like, ha ha ha, lol. But like, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, today's the day. I'm like, nah, man. Like, I because I need to do that too. You have to have those days where you're like, in my opinion, it's a lot on process and program and thinking through how you want to train and like mapping out and coordinating your calendars and your dates for events and stuff like that. Like going into like a Pans or a Worlds, like you really need to employ your game where you need to also practice beating people. Cause that's the point of that game. You can't always just be in the habit of like, cause there can be too much of what we are doing where like you get habitually comfortable saying, no big deal. I'm just doing the thing I'm not very good at. Oh, I tapped out. I got beat. I did get better. I tapped out less. But there needs to also like you should be the nail a lot of times if you want to grow, but also there's value in being like, I'm going to be the hammer.
Yeah.
Because like when the tournament comes around, you need to be a hammer.
Well, and
you need to fucking hammer.
Going,
So you got to practice hammering.
Kind of like adding a little bit of the theme of this episode to that. Like if you get too comfortable being in that losing scenario, you know what I mean?
It can become like a habit.
You can almost, it can become a habit, or you, like you said, you start kind of like,
you maybe lose your edge a little bit.
Yeah. You start giving yourself excuses to lose. Be like, well, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm working on. So it's okay that I'm losing here. This is what I'm working on. And like, sometimes you have to remind yourself why you're doing this. And it's to lose less when it counts. And so you have to like remind yourself like, no, like I'm not supposed to lose here.
That's right.
I'm allowed to to lose here because I'm trying to get better at this, but I'm still supposed to win here. I still need to win here, and force yourself to continue to be uncomfortable there and know like, no, this sucks. I need to get better at this. I need to get out. Right. And so you have to keep reminding yourself of this as well.
It brings me back to what you were saying earlier about like watching that tape, and the word that I was using, but we can call it whatever, was like discernment of looking at that clip, like you said. And even though we chose the armbar like example,
yeah,
to your point earlier, and I would agree with you, for a competitive perspective, a game perspective, like let's just use that same like little micro example that we chose, where that person was like, oh, I guess I should be doing armbar or skates. But like you said it, you're like, no, man. Like for the tournament, it's going to be prevention because your mistake, we're seeing it in the armbar. That's where you tapped out. But your mistake was 3 steps ago.
Yeah.
Where you got trapped. You did this. Like that's where your fight's going to be. So that, like you said, again, like a lot of this is process. A lot of this is good coaching. It's programming, seeing eye to eye, educating our students and ourselves on knowing where those moments, like where the fight's really taking place for the competitor. Then, like you said, go back into, you definitely need to train this way because, like I said, you are going to be the hammer when you go and compete. But like the hammer has to know, like when he's becoming a nail in a tournament, it could be, that's the fun thing. And the fun thing, but the really challenging thing about jiu-jitsu too is it's obviously you don't know. The other guy, we always say this, the other guy gets a vote. The other guy is trying to trick you.
Yeah.
The other guy is trying to lure you into traps.
They want you to feel comfortable where you are.
That's right.
So that they can
You have to discern that. So you have to know, like, hey, when I'm in this space, before he even gets me in the armbar, there's a moment where he's going to trap my leg. He's going to grab my wrist and kind of pull. He's going to break my posture. So that's where you have to know that, like, oh, I'm entering armbar range. And the fight is right now. Before he catches my arm, if I don't fight right now, I'm going to lose the likelihood that I'm going to remain the hammer and I'm going to start to become the nail. Like you need to see when you're shifting from hammer to nail. And that's a lot of competition, is like knowing where you're going to be attacking and staying there, staying on offense. This is like, it's the concept of the initiative of combat. It's like you want to own the initiative of combat, which means you must know where you're in control and dictating, and to the best of your ability. Because again, a good jiu-jitsu competitor is trying to trick you, just like you're trying to trick them. They're trying to trick you into they're doing the same thing to you if they're smart, if they are, whether they know it or not. So yeah, you have to have that like awareness of like, all right, like when I don't do the following things, I always win. When I do the following things, it gets harder. I make mistakes. So it's like that tells you something.
When
there's like little decisive moments of battles of combat.
Yeah, it's those tipping points, right? Like, I tell people that it's a slider. I don't know, like, real quick, guys, if you're enjoying the show, pop over to our website, www.fdcpodcast.com. We've got weekly blog posts that expand on all the show topics. There's a newsletter as well. You can sign up for all of that for free. And if you're really enjoying the show us some support. Click that coffee button or the donate tab. Like, subscribe, review. Now back to the show. That like morale slider that you might have had in like tactical video games, right?
Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, where like this team's winning as the slider goes this way, but then like one little thing happens and the slider starts to slide to the other side, and like now this team's winning, and you're just battling to see who can get it to the other all the way over, like tug of war. It could just be tug of war too, right?
Yeah,
like you have the flag, and
a
you're
good
trying
match
to pass
it will
it.
be.
Yeah, and so you're looking for that one wherever that tipping point was. In the case of this armbar, like where was the disruption that led to them being able to go into the armbar?
That's right.
Don't look at the armbar. Let's start there and let's just start slowly rewinding the tape until we find that moment where like, oh, this is where it turned over. Remember that moment, slide it back just a little bit further. Be like, all right, where was I in control? Let's start there and not allow us to get to that tipping point, right? So we're not going to worry about the tip. We're not going to start at the tipping point. Yep. That's not going to be
the work's before that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to roll it all the way back and we're going to say, all right, hey, training partner for today, this is what I'm working on. You know, this could be during open rolling, whatever, but like, hey, you're trying to armbar me. I'm going to start at this point in your guard or wherever. It doesn't matter. It could be bottom. Who cares? I'm going to start in this position. My goal right now is purely to not let you get to the armbar. And ideally we'll get to progression as this goes. Like you're going to try to progress the next step. But for now, hey, I'm just going to try to prevent you from being able to even get to an armbar. And that's the drill.
That's right.
Right. And, we can still do the armbar escapes at a different, that can be part of this. Like if you are constantly caught in armbars, maybe you do need to work on that. But let's look at the moments leading up to the tipping point. And like every position is going to have these tipping
That's right.
It's really easy to see them in submissions because there is like
it's definitive and like, you can track it in a video. You can literally like timestamp the video and be like, pause, watch it progress. Yeah, you can see the whole life cycle of the move.
You can see it and you can look at with guard passing. Sometimes it's a little bit like with someone passing your guard, it can be a little more tricky because sometimes there's a lot of other things. Like it could be, oh, I went for this thing and they passed. Okay, that's a little bit like harder to, oh yeah, I went for an armbar, they defended it, they passed. Like that's a little bit of a more difficult, like muddier situation because well, maybe don't go for the armbar, but also I kind of like that you went for the armbar and like So that's some other scenarios. It's a little harder to discern, but you'll be able to do it. Just finding the tipping points harder. That's not bad. It's just to point out it is a little more difficult. But yeah, that is the thing that we're trying to work on is not reaching that. And that is going to be very difficult.
But once you get your finger on it, so I mean, like in my opinion, and what I would in that scenario kind of like talk to the other person about, the other guy about it would be like, hey, like look, you see like right here, this moment where like maybe you stepped in a little too close or whatever it is. That was the first domino to fall before the whole series event kind of went down the path towards that guy winning it. He gained control as soon as you did that. But I say that because there might be an opportunity with that, with the student, with whoever to say, hey dude, look, like this, you can prevent that. It's actually really not that. It took some work for us to identify that. Like you said, it's difficult to identify, but once you identify, you can say, hey, look, the homework might not be that difficult. Look, you kind of stepped into it. So what that tells me is you don't have to do that. So you have so much agency and control over this situation. You're actually maybe a little bit better at preventing arm bars than perhaps you think because you can 2 or 3 steps back because now that you're aware of it, you can better manage your range. You can redirect, like if we're standing and we're moving towards a seated player where their weapons are positioned, all right, well, let's rethink about where we maneuver inwards so that we don't put them in a good position for that armbar that comes 3 or 4 steps later. Like I say that to say, like, I think it can be also like a way to like boost someone's confidence to say, look, man, like you actually have more control of this than you think. It's not going to be some crazy complicated problem to solve because the job's going to be here. It may just be something as simple as like, you're going to hand fight out here. You're going to win the hand fights. And then like, you're only going to close distance when you like your hand fighting.
Yeah.
So just as an example to say, hey, it's a lot simpler. No, we need to work on it. Like we're going to challenge you to like be good at this. So you still may get armbarred a bunch of times, but know that if you do this one thing well, you're already in a better position. This is the fight. The fight's right here. And if it's an unforced error, if you chose to step in there, well, hey, by the way, that means you cannot do that. Make the other guy beat you is better than you saying, like, oh, I just kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
I did this thing and now I lost. Yeah.
But now I know.
Well, and like,
if you didn't know before, it may feel like some big, it could be this big, hard to solve, complicated problem. You're like, and you beat yourself because like, I just get armbarred. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's not really what the issue was, homie. The issue was like right here. Like, you kind of just stepped in. You're like, oh, I didn't see that. Well, that's the coach's job. We come in and we say that. We're like, well, I saw it. And now you know. And now you're more informed. And you start to pick up on these concepts of how important something like initial hand fighting in range is, like that first point of contact. Like, you know, by the way, I've got 3 simple drills. And we're going to add into we'll add into the warm-up. You don't even need to think about it. Just do the warm-up. And like when you do the warm-up, just try the warm-up. Like really think about that initial contact, grip, move. Or like he grips you, break, grip, move. Like just like little skills that like, it doesn't have to become some big like, holy fuck, I've got this, you know, like E equals MC squared, I've got this like crazy physics equation I gotta figure out. Like, no. It's just like, you just do this thing. Trust me, do this for 6 months. I'll put it in your warm-up. I don't even want you to think about it. You're just gonna get better at it. Like it can be done with like good coaching, good programming, like you said, like the right analysis, to make our students' lives a little bit easier. But no, that does require a trained eye and then, you know, good coaching, a little bit of effort to like take the time to watch the tape. But if we're already doing it, you know,
yeah, well,
like we like doing that stuff,
and that is why it's important to have that like outside person looking at it, like not yourself.
Yeah,
because one, you will always be the most critical of yourself. Like that's just how it's going to be. You're just be like, no, I just suck at this. And then you have to have someone come be like, no, dude, like actually you normally do this just fine. But this time you did this.
Yeah.
Like you said, sometimes that is all the case.
It's quite preventable, actually, dude. Let's simplify. Give yourself a break. And like anything else, like multiple sets of eyes are always a benefit rather than you just looking at it overnight. Like let's get more eyes on this.
Yeah. Look at it as if,
guys.
Look at it as if it's not your own video too.
That would help.
Like, just
that might be hard to do, but
if you want to take, if you, maybe you don't have someone that can evaluate it for you, just to like throw this one out there.
Right.
And because this is how I try to evaluate my own videos. I don't always do it the first time, but when I go back and watch them later, I try to look at them and be like, all right,
how would I coach someone else?
If this wasn't me, what would I say? Like if this was just like one of my guys, how would I see this? And like that's how I try to frame it when I go back and look at them. Sometimes you do have to, you know, take your medicine and like look at it as if it is yourself and just be like, no, like that was just a shitty performance. That's fine.
Okay.
Every so often you do have to do that, but to remind yourself.
No. It's even like you said, there's a comfort. That's the comfort discomfort.
Yeah.
But that is also, I find that, at least personally, I what I like about that feeling, that sting of like, fuck, that sucked. God damn it. That's on video too. Crap. Everyone can see it on the internet. Okay. It's like a good reminder as to why we care about these training sessions. It should give you a little bit of a fire to be like, man, I just don't want that. If I'm going to lose again, I'd like to lose differently.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd like to lose in a different way. I want to reduce the amount of repeated silly mistakes. So kind of like sometimes like we embrace that like discomfort of like, fuck man, I got beat on TV. I got choked out or whatever. Like big deal. Like, all right, cool. Like let it like you convert it into like a beneficial motivational thing that like then we take it back. If you do all the shit we're talking about here and it's like when you go into that practice room, you're like, no, I'm going to try at the hand fighting drill.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. Because I don't want to lose that same way. It would piss me off.
I'm going to get better at this one thing.
Yeah.
If I get
beat again, it better be something different. It's not going to be that fucking thing. It's going to be something different. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And
there's value. There's valor in that.
Yeah.
You're the guy who's like, oh, I can see a problem and I can fix a problem.
Yeah.
And there will be other problems, but when I find those problems, I'll fix those fucking problems too. Because I'm a goddamn Terminator and I'm unstoppable. And like, I'm too stubborn to quit.
Yeah.
Bitch, I'll outlast you. Like,
gotta be the Terminator.
Yeah, you gotta be the Terminator, dude.
Be unwilling to die the same way twice.
That's right. I think that's a good way. We should write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that on something too.
Be unwilling to
die the same way twice.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is hard to do.
It's not that hard to do. It's hard at first, and then you just like, I think if you accept, you're like, this is the job.
Well, I just mean it's difficult to be the appropriate level of critical of yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I totally get what you're saying.
It's very easy. It's easier to be overcritical of yourself, and it's also easy to be too easy on yourself.
Totally.
Right? Like it's easy to go and make the excuses. It's easy also to tell yourself that wasn't that like, no, it was just really bad. Like all these things were bad. Did all these things wrong.
I know.
And to like just kind of like cop out and just be like, no, I'm just bad. Versus to look at it like through a realistic lens and be like, no, I did this one very specific thing wrong, and that's what I need to get better at. Because like It's easier just to be like, I just need to be better at everything. I'm just going to do everything. Like, it's easy to say that because then there's kind of a cop-out and you're not going to work on anything.
I understand.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to go and do the same things over and over. The same thing you've been doing.
Let me give you a thought exercise that I've kind of fucked around with, because I've watched people out there who have just like mastered humility in a way that I admire so much, man, that like they are so humble that they end up becoming freakishly successful. And I'll tell you why. Because I've seen guys do this, and it's almost like flipping around what you just said to an extent. It's almost like, yes, you want to be confident. Yes, you want to like be like, I can do this and I will do it. Here's how I'm going to do it. And I'm ready. I'm prepared. I've done the work. I see that same work ethic come through with people who do the following, which is like, I've talked to guys who just like, basically they say that like, dude, I suck. I am a piece of shit, but I work and I'm going to work. And it's almost like they like say to themselves like, man, I'm so crappy at this, but I'm still going to fight for it. And it like gives them a break when the thing goes wrong. Not that they don't hold themselves accountable for it, because it's like they have that work ethic because they believe they're like, look, I'm always going to be a work in progress. So like telling myself that I'm the guy is really just something it's like you could be the guy for the day for that 3 fights that you win, but like you compete enough times, someone's going to beat you. And then you're going to feel that way again. So you just almost just like invert it. You're like, dude, I'm a work in progress. And I'm going to I have to continue to get better. So like, I may be kind of crappy to all this, but like I can put it together fairly well for a guy who's pretty crappy. Also, kind of like, it's funny when you said, you're like, also maybe that means everyone else is crappy too. We're all crappy. We're all shitty. And we're all just trying to get better.
Who's the best, shittiest person?
That's what it is. And I've seen these guys do that. And like, there's also like a kind of like a looseness to these guys when they go, and they let it, they despite saying that, it's like they don't really believe they're shitty. They just believe that like, they're like, I know how much more I need to do. So this is now my chance to do it. So they're like, all right. It's such a humble way to look at things that like, you're so humble that you treat that opportunity as like an opportunity to say like, man, this is my chance to be a little less crappy.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to care about these little details. Like, and I see these guys, I'm giving you like a kind of like an extreme example, but I've seen people with this mindset kick fucking ass because they don't squander that opportunity. They treat it for what it is. Like, it's a chance for me to be less shitty today. And like, I'm going to take it. And then like we said, like if I did my homework from the last time I was shitty, I'm a little less shitty at this other thing. Maybe I'll be shitty at a different thing, but that's okay. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, it does.
All right. You can tell me if it doesn't make sense.
I'll phrase it the way that I kind of think, because I know I'm not the best person out there, right? Like, it's just, there's plenty of data to show that I'm not. It's fine. You know what I mean?
I understand.
But like we will talk about confidence, because that is something that's actually a super important. That's
We're
not on this episode.
Around confidence.
That's going to be a different episode because like we don't have time for that.
Well, okay. I would like to. I want you to finish your thought, but I would like to kind of instill a little hope in all of this too, in people for the confidence thing. But we'll do that.
We'll get to
I think I can do it. I can do it.
But for me, there's plenty of data to show that I'm not the best at this. I know this, but like every single match, and then maybe this is just because like I've always been like an average like level person in all the sports. I'm decent enough. Like I'm not like, I'm on like the slightly better side of average, I guess, but like I'm not great. I'm not amazing. Like I'm not like the next, well, I'll never be, I'm not like the next like big thing. It's not what's going to happen. But like I know that the confidence comes from knowing I have the capability to reach a certain level, right? Like you know that you have the ability to do this because one, everyone is beatable, including yourself. You know you're beatable. There's something about like, it's almost, you have to know that you can lose.
That's right. Everyone
Everyone else can also lose.
That's right.
You're showing up. You have to have the confidence in what you've done, not arrogance. And like, you just know, like, I've done the work. I belong here, but it doesn't mean that I automatically win.
That's right.
You still have to show up.
To earn it.
You have to earn it. You put in the work, and no matter what, you get better. I mean, the guys that I train always say, dude, like, how do you brush off losses so well? And I'm like, because it's just part of it, dude.
It's the job.
If you go in and expect to win, like I don't know what else, I don't know what to tell you. Like that's not the right mindset. If you don't, same thing with a new guy. Honestly, the thing you say about like you don't have the right of expectation,
it's true.
It kind of continues past the first time.
It never. You always. Yeah.
It's I mean it's actually a constant.
It's
right?
a constant.
Like
it is a constant.
The only thing that you can expect is
another fight,
that you're gonna get another match.
That's right.
And that's really it. Like that other guy, everyone could be better than you. And like until you're at a level where like literally you beat everyone that's available to you, you really don't have the right to expect to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
That's just how it is.
And honestly, it is about getting better. So
Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson. Like to your point, like anyone can be beat. Like, who was the Matt Serra knocked out fucking George St. Pierre.
Yeah,
like these guys, like you said, like these like everyone's beatable. And yes, I guess what I'd say on the confidence thing, I think people want like a shortcut to confidence.
Yeah.
And I understand that because the stuff is, like you said, it's uncomfortable. The stuff is uncomfortable. Like you're constantly being tested. And there is this impossible ego battle. As many times as you do this, it's still there. That like you want to kind of like you want to puff your chest. You want to like trick yourself into confidence when you're kind of learning. And what I would argue what we're talking about here is the habit forming, the difficult long road of habit forming that builds true confidence.
Yeah.
That's what we're like trying to like build the machinery of decision making and effort that allows you to have a confidence that just is unquestionable versus the like tricking yourself into confidence, which you're trying to do. And I'm not saying you shouldn't even try to do it. Like you want to get to that confident position, however it works for you. John could probably give us some different versions of that.
Some true head shrinking.
But what I would argue is like what we're describing is like learning how to build like machinery of effort, like a habit of effort that, and what my version of this was like, it's kind of, this is a process thing. It's like what we're talking about. I think this is kind of what works for me. I'm still working on it, but it's that discernment thing of like finding the issue, addressing the issue, improving on the issue, and then doing well until you find the next issue. But like, I think that's part of the habit forming that helps you because I find that there's something about you just saying like, oh, okay, like, to your point, there isn't like, you don't deserve the expectations. Even if you have a good resume, like you should always feel like a humble, challenging, kind of like nerve push to be like, I don't know what's going to happen. Then this is in the sports psychology books I told you that I have over there. I'm going to make everyone in my new gym read. That like Jordan talks about this. Gretzky talks about this. Baseball players you've heard of, Mike Tyson, like the greats. They're all like, yo, like we don't control outcomes, but we control actions and behaviors. Like they control process.
Yeah.
And the process is a connection to the workflow and like kind of like a gritty, relentless, like decision to continue to compete, which is what like you like think gets you to a point where you're like, well, I am confident because, and I you'll get to the point where you'll have a resume that's like, yeah, the resume speaks for itself, but like I'm building the resume by like choosing not to quit and not allowing some fleeting positive, whether it's fake or not, like confidence boost. That's just, it comes and goes anyways. So it's sort of like, it's almost like you're more confident in your process because like whatever happens, like this is just, here's the thing, I'm doing the job. I'm a professional. Professional does his job, win, lose, whatever. Good day, bad day, just doing it. We're professionals. We do this shit. And part of being a professional means like maybe you get confident and really confident, and almost like not arrogant, but like you get like fucking like, maybe your ego is around like my workflow. Because like that's something you can attach to rather than like, oh, I'm the guy who beats everyone. They're like, I'm the guy who figures out what's going on and fixes it.
Well, yeah, your confidence should be in your actions, not in your person, right?
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
If you're confident in what you've done and the work you can put in, like that's a different thing.
I think that's more that lasts longer.
Yeah.
It's more foundational, and then you almost won't even think about having to have that fake confidence, like, mindset thing the day of your tournament. Like,
you don't have to sit there and be like, I'm the man, I'm the guy. Like, you just be like, no, like, I put in the work. I can do this.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to keep putting in the work after this is over.
And that kind of lends to what you were talking about with like those guys who are like so humble, right? Like I think that's
what I was trying to get across.
That's where it comes from, because it's not them that they're not confident in their self. They're confident in what they can do. And I think that's ultimately what, I mean, I'm sure we could probably like, I bet if you went and looked at a bunch of like match or pre-match like interviews with some of like the top guys, and like you could probably correlate that, like what they talk about, and like when they discuss like why they're going to win, you can probably look at like, I'm sure if you like really dug into it, like with MMA fighters, jiu-jitsu guys,
whatever,
whoever,
other athletes, and
you just look at like what they discuss, and they discuss why they're going to win, you can probably correlate the guys that win with the ones that talk about because they did the work, because they've been practicing this thing.
Yeah.
You know, versus like the guy is just like, I'm going to win because I'm the best.
Yeah.
That guy usually loses. Well,
you get a lot of that in like pro sports, where it's like it becomes a bit performative for like selling things, which is different. But like what you're saying is like, if we get to that true analytical conversation, which is tough in like combat sports.
The real interview, not the promos.
Yeah, totally.
Because you'll see that with a bunch of guys. Like, heck, you can watch, some of the guys that are the more like, fuck that guy, I'm going to win. If you go back and watch, like they usually have a separate interview with a different, not the one that's pumped out on the commercials.
It's usually a post-fight interview.
Yeah.
When like the edge is kind of off, like they kind of did the job and they're kind of like disarmed, and like whatever happened just already happened. So they don't need to put on airs. And it's usually a post-fight or a post-game where like you hear like more analytical perspective.
Yeah. They're like, well, I knew he was really good at this thing. Yeah. And I knew, but I had been
prepared
working
for this
on
and that. Yeah.
And so like you see the real confidence.
You see the process stuff in that arena.
And which is a lot of what we're talking about here. Like that discomfort, that comfort, like that discomfort is put into the process specifically to make you confident.
To build your confidence
in what you're going to do. And I mean, we'll get deeper into confidence on a future episode. That's going to happen.
We're running up on time. And it's a whole conversation. And I would say maybe this links to the next episode, but it really is you have to like you have to like build you're kind of building a road a confidence road you can walk down for men. Obviously, jiu-jitsu is what we're talking about, but like other shit in life too. Like you're building your confidence brick by brick by like proving it to yourself that you can handle like uncomfortable stuff. And so which is what we're saying is like kind of like the way to build the confidence is like kind of challenging your confidence a lot of times. And still kind of like bouncing back from it, and like just keep putting the bricks on the road, like build that road one step at a time. And then like you might get to where like the better you get at that, like you'll notice the bricks get a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And like the road starts to look a little more like, you're like, oh, okay. But like it doesn't come overnight. Maybe for some people it does, but for like a normal person, like who has like normal, healthy, like confidence and lack of confidence issues, like every human being does, like it's going to be a decision over time, which is probably another reason why we encourage people to do it, because we want to see the best come out of our people.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys,
that's a fun episode.
Comfort and discomfort. And speaking of uncomfortable situations, I've got a combat confession from you guys. For you guys here. This one comes from someone who I guess they were on Tinder, and one of their Tinder profile pictures is of them doing jiu-jitsu.
Phenomenal.
So it's actually a pretty funny picture. It's a dude. He appears to be, they're doing jiu-jitsu on a mat. It's him and a buddy they're half naked because they're doing, I guess, jiu-jitsu. One, he's wearing socks, which, by the way, he's wearing socks and doing jiu-jitsu. Embarrassing for him.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
But so he posted the person responding to one of his Tinder profile pictures. I don't really know. I've never been on Tinder. I have no idea how it works, but I
can tell you how it works.
This was at 1:15 a.m. So like that's kind of cool, I guess. Because they have the timestamp on it.
Phenomenal.
On like when the person.
Is this someone you know?
No, this is not someone. This is a random person.
Okay.
Most people I know are married.
Got it.
At least the people that would give me combat confessions.
I understand.
So tell me more about this is the message from I get maybe lady, could be a guy. I don't know their preferences. So tell me more about what you're looking for on here. And also, what's going on in that one pic on your profile with you putting a dude's face between your legs?
Nice.
This probably is.
Do they have the picture in there?
Oh yeah, I'll show you the picture
Good.
here in just a sec.
We should describe it for the listeners.
But so his question, and we're gonna answer this, and maybe I will also respond to it. This is from 3 years ago. I'm not gonna respond to it.
Yeah.
But how do I tell her I'm in a club where me and a bunch of other guys dress up in pajamas and roll around on the ground together? The pictures of him, I guess, training with his
was this guy's face
friends
on his
yeah, I'll show you. This kind of.
Yeah, we should describe it for the listeners so we see what this
I want
poor
you
woman
to
had to
describe
see.
it.
I'll do that. Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, this is okay. So, guys, I suppose it's the dude on top. It'd be
I
crazy
imagine
if it was the
so.
guy on the bottom.
I kind of wish it was the guy on the bottom. Is like the
I
guy
agree.
whose Tinder it is.
There's a dude on. All right, this is Nogi. Guy's wearing a tank top, so his muscles are kind of pumping out. I guess that might help. Weirdly, in the background, there's another dude
watching.
Correct. There's a guy in the background of this picture, also wearing socks, by the way, just like a pair of cargo shorts and socks, which is funny. But the guy who we assume the Tinder profile is for, you can't see his face, but he's like leaning in from top side control on an armbar, so his legs are sitting over the opponent's face, and the opponent's face, like his face is very close to his balls, but that's normal, right? That's armbar.
It's
stuff.
just an armbar.
That's just armbar stuff. And in this individual in the theme of our conversation, this guy, the defendant, he's wearing socks, and so
which again, he should be embarrassed about the socks.
So tell me more about what you're looking for on here, and also what's going on in that one pic on your dating profile with you putting a dude's face between your legs. LOL. He should have responded. He should have been like, "Yeah, babe, let me tell you all about that."
Yeah.
The fact that she was willing to message him,
I mean,
off of that picture, is great. So
she must have been okay with like his jackedness, I guess.
Yeah. True. He does look kind of strong.
He's in decent shape.
He's in decent shape. He got muscles and veins on his bicep.
He must at least that, or he just has some really good. Might actually have like other good pictures on his profile, maybe.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how many pictures
I assume she was interested in one of the other pictures, because that one doesn't even show his face. That's just like a dude leaning over. Yeah, I'm like, I guess she doesn't know anything about grappling.
Probably not.
I would assume so. Like, she's not like, "Oh, you do jiu-jitsu? That's so cool. Let's like, what are you interested in?" Like, she's hitting him with a sincere question, like, "What's up with that picture?" I mean. Yeah, we should interview a girl one of these days, get her like a total non-jiu-jitsu girl, and be like, "Do you know anything about like if you saw this picture, what would you think?"
Yeah, tell me about jiu-jitsu.
Because like, I would think even as a non-jiu-jitsu person, like any person would look at that, like, "Oh, it's too like it doesn't." It looks like he's trying to grab his arm, which maybe I'm so deep that it looks like some version of grappling. I got to think they would at least think it was some kind of a fight.
I like that one of the
guy in the background with the socks is awesome.
The guy just watching.
Yeah, why are they all wearing socks?
I do like that one guy just says, OP, original poster, is definitely not doing any type of BJJ I'm familiar with.
That's funny.
Comment below that is, "This is the smell my asshole Akana."
That's awesome.
A classic to force subservience and exert dominance over the weaker male.
Asserting dominance. Yeah.
Asserting dominance.
I hope he's got a sense of humor.
I hope. I mean,
did he follow up? Did anyone ask if he got the date? I hope one of the dudes.
Usually do. So, what? Let's see if he. They usually do ask. No one asked. I mean, this is on the Jiu-Jitsu Reddit. Nobody gets dates.
It's
Reddit.
Yeah,
People don't get dates.
He didn't get the date. That's very funny.
Homeboy didn't get the date.
I hope he had a good sense of humor.
He said, someone says, "I guarantee a lot of people are swiping left based only on that photo." Is that the bad way? Does that mean they're...
Yeah, it means they don't want to talk to you.
No?
That's
okay.
a no.
I'm learning a lot. I'm learning.
That's a wild picture to post. It's not like the coolest picture to post. But, whatever. He got a response out of this girl, so who am I to judge? He might have had other better pictures, but phenomenal.
Someone says, I bet it would do numbers on Grindr.
It would. Yeah, he should. You should hit him up and be like, "Yo, did you get the date, dude?"
I do want to. I might.
Fuck these haters. You'd be like, "Hey, screw these dorks."
I'm gonna do that right now, and then
I'll get her number,
follow up on it at a later date.
He's like, "We're married now." Yeah. She trains with me.
How do I? Where's the thing?
I mean, it's up to you. Don't worry.
I'm gonna respond to this. Yeah, I'm gonna find out. I want to comment. Can I comment? All right. well, I'm not going to take more of your time with me trying to
That's okay.
figure out technology, but I am going to.
That's a good one.
I am going to.
That's a good comeback confession.
So if I do figure out how to comment on this and I do find out if you got the date, I will follow up. By the way, Nikki, one of the guys I train with, did say that we should start a IBJJF missed connections.
Oh, that's funny.
And like BJJ dating show. So maybe we'll do that. This might be the kicking off point. Who knows, guys?
Yeah, that's funny.
Dude, how the hell do I... This has been Fighters Drinking Coffee, guys.
This has been Fighters Drinking Coffee. Mike's trying to figure out, he can read Reddit, but he can't interact on Reddit.
I'm not going to...
Which is maybe better, but...
I'm not going to drag you down my technological illiteracy. It might just be locked at this point. Who knows?
Fuck it.
Maybe he locked it because he is dating the girl and doesn't want her to find out.
Yeah.
But this has been Fighters Drinking Coffee, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Check out the website www.fdcpodcast.com. We will have more blog posts. We'll have blog posts and stuff on there that expand on the show topics. So if you enjoy the show and you want more, that's where you can find it.
Yeah, tell us.
So hop on there. Love everything. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.